it's always a great experience to get to go to these conferences
Conferences.
because you get to learn what other people are doing. And sometimes you learn something that you already knew, but it kind of lights a fire back into you to go back to the office or your work world or your personal life, which sometimes kind of melts together. And you want to go and just be better. And so for that, I really like conferences. I like getting to meet people from lots of different places. That particular conference I went to was called the SE4A conference, and it's like 8 different states. So Kentucky being one of them, y'all know I'm from Kentucky. Kentucky, North and South Carolina, Alabama, Virginia, Tennessee, Florida, Mississippi. That's plenty. Y'all are done listening to that. So y'all just know it's quite a few states that come together. And so here's something that's really cool about going to the conference that has Kentucky. There are 2 special girls that I always get to see when I go to the SE4A conference that are from my hometown that I went to high school, well, I went through school with, but graduated high school with. They are senior center directors, and my Aunt Rose, which is my daddy's sister, goes to their senior center in Kentucky. And so that's always a really cool moment to get to visit with them. And so for the people, getting to see people I don't normally see in my regular routine, getting to meet new people, getting to be inspired and learn new things. Those are all great things about a conference. But I like home. I like the routine of home. I like my coffee, my shower, my everythings. So, and I don't like canceling class. So we have all agreed that next time I say I'm going to a conference, y'all are
You
going to
can't do.
say no. You're going to say no. And then you're going to say, we'll inspire you. Or something like that. Or, something along those lines. So, but anyway, I'm here to inspire you today. My presentation went really well. It was all about virtual programming, which this is what I'm doing here. The people who own and run the Claris tablet see value in what I'm doing and think I'm some kind of superstar for the connections that we make over the internet. I mean, the fact that, well, most of us haven't met in real life, but still have a relationship and a connection, that's amazing and impressive. It's something that surprised me, and I like to go out there and share and encourage others to do that. So that felt good to be able to share what I do. So hopefully I inspired others. It may have brought them to my YouTube page, so they may be watching today. So welcome if you're here watching this on record. The recording, and I'm walking, open and closing my hands, getting warmed up. So I invite you to join me in doing that. But the recordings of the classes are for y'all. It's for you to revisit the class if there's a certain part that you want to review. If maybe you missed class and you want to come and not necessarily make it up, but you don't want to be behind, because we know that our classes build on each other. This is week 6 of our 16-week program. And by week 6, we're pretty comfortable with our warm-up exercises. Let me admit people. Miss Linda. By week 6, we're comfortable with our warm-up movements. That's 2 movements per each of our major joints. And then we have started our Tai Chi series of movements where we've learned commencement, open and close, which was that so tricky, y'all. single whip, and then we started that process of waving hands in clouds. And you notice I put up a different poster today that says step, switch, turn, and shift. Those are our waving hands in clouds words. I had showed you this piece of paper that lives in front of me always that has those same words. We'll talk about that more today. But hopefully in the past couple weeks, you've had the opportunity to do some Tai Chi walking. Whether you walked around your house for a designated amount of time, walking forward, or maybe you had space and did Tai Chi walking to the side, which is part of our waving hands in clouds movement. So we're going to go into that more today, but I did challenge you 2 weeks ago to do some Tai Chi walking with that empty step before you weight transfer. All right, so let's get in our stable stance where our feet are about shoulder width or hip width apart. We have a slight bend in our knee. We never lock our joints. We have very soft and open joints. We think about that specifically with our knees and elbows. But we also leave a little bit of space for our armpits to breathe whenever we bring our arms away from our bodies. We have a nice upright posture. Our shoulders are back, but they're relaxed. We're not holding any tension anywhere. Our movements are slow, smooth, and continuous in nature. So let's start with our neck exercises. Here we go, y'all. Bring our hands up, palms down, turn and pull them towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down, chin to our chest or towards our chest. You don't have to touch your chest with your chin. We're just warming up that neck joint, stretching those muscles, getting ready for movement as we want warm muscles as we exercise, which lessens our chance of injury and increases our mobility. Don't forget to breathe. Now let's go from side to side. Come back to center and switch. Not going as far as we can go, but going until we feel that slight stretch. And then coming back to center. The more you practice this movement, the more mobile your neck will be. You'll have less tension in your neck. And this ability of your head and neck to move in this way helps you be a better driver. That's one of those daily life activities that you do where you need to safely change lanes or safely back out of a spot in a parking lot, and that can help you see. All right, let's roll our shoulders forward. Small circles, think size of a quarter, even if it's a little bit bigger than that. But our goal is just really small as we roll forward and then as we roll back. Now, 2 weeks ago, we did seated Tai Chi. So if you weren't here for that and you want to experience seated Tai Chi, look up the class of September 9th. There's a morning class and an afternoon class, and both were seated out of necessity for me because my foot was hurting. All right, let's do this big circle. Push down. We inhale, palms up, turn and exhale, palms down. And so let the pace of your movement match your breath. You can use this movement for words of affirmation, to breathe in calm and breathe out stress. Breathe in all the good stuff. Exhale any kind of bad stuff. we're kind of in charge of our day. Our mindset kind of sets the tone for how our day will be. If we choose to focus on negative things, let's see, then our day will be kind of icky, right? Sometimes icky happens even if we have a good mindset. So that there's no like real answer for all of it. We just try to do our best, right? Spine. So let's grab our ball. Hand on top goes down, still keeping that soft bend. Hand on the bottom of our ball follows our spine up and pushes. So we're separating the heavens and the earth, if you want to think about it like that. Coming back to our ball and switching hands. Now, if you have some mobility issues with your shoulder, remember you can stay small by that. Think of it as a stretchy string, stretching your spine right here, which when I first started Tai Chi, I thought, that doesn't make any sense to me. I was trying to make this movement an arm stretch, because you can, especially if you go like this and really lock those elbows. But if you think about that spine as you stretch and you're pushing down and up at the same time, then you start to engage that spine. So you can do it even on that small scale. Now, if you want to think about breath here, I inhale as I come to my ball, and then I exhale as I separate, and I just feel like that exhale with the stretch makes that stretch more. And it gives you that same gather and release that the shoulder exercise does. So we're gathering calm and pushing out the stress. So you kind of change your verb, but what you're trying to hold on to and let go of can stay the same. And just thinking about that in terms of the movement. All right, let's take our ball and go side to side. Keeping in mind, we go in the direction of the hand that's on top. And it's a very small movement. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were doing seated Tai Chi, and how it may be easier to experience this movement seated and not do too much. Standing, it's really easy for me to go over here and go way too far, but if I'm seated and I start to go too far, then I come out of my chair. So maybe seated is a great time to learn this movement, just how small it is. I like looking at myself in the camera, and I can see that right here, I'm just above this leg or this knee, and I come across and I stop just above that knee before I switch. So it's easy for me to see when I'm on camera. Sometimes what we think our body is doing is very different than what our body is doing. So I encourage you to watch yourself in a mirror, watch yourself on video, have someone take pictures, whatever may work best for you. All right, so that's for our upper body. Moving to our lower body, remember these were the ones that were different whenever we were seated. And so we still stretch our hips, knees, and ankles. It just happens a little differently as a seated Tai Chi person. So standing, we shift weight to one leg. We place a heel forward, hands back. We pause in the middle, and then toe back, hands forward. That's the part we don't do when we're seated, because we'd fall out of our chair. I think of this as a leg swing. Also, when we were seated, we did one leg, then switched to the other leg. So here we're practicing endurance, or helping improve our stamina by holding weight on one leg longer. So let's give it a break and shift to that other leg. Heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, toe back, hands forward. My left foot is still a little bit tender. It's not like it was 2 weeks ago. I couldn't even walk on it. I think I should have wore tennis shoes, but y'all know me, I like to be fashionable. Or if you didn't know that about me, I like to be fashionable. And these shoes just were too perfect for this shirt. So any pain I feel, it's all for Vogue magazine. All right, now continuing with our hips, we're going to shift weight to one leg, keeping in mind here to keep that upright posture, not to lean into that leg or lean into the side. Let's see, we got Miss Iris. Always maintain upright posture. So there's a tendency when you shift that weight to want to lean with it, but leaning is falling. So we want to maintain upright posture as we shift weight to that leg and tap out. So bring it back in, switch our hands, shift, and you see our hands stay within our frame too. So I'm stopping just at the edge of my frame, of my body. What happens if I were to go further? Well, you saw, I just started leaning. So staying within our frame is important to maintain that body structure of upright posture, which is one of our principles. There you go. Now to our knees. I have loose fists down here by my hips. We never clench our fists. We keep them loose, nice and gentle. Like we're holding an egg we don't want to break. So we're going to shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back. Shift, lift, tap and punch. A lot of weight transfer here. Holding weight on one leg. Really working these muscles, encouraging them to be stabilizers for us that help keep us upright. The stronger our muscles are, the more able they are to be stabilizers for us, the less likely we are to fall. And that's our goal here, is to be lifelong, not fallers. Lifelong, not fallers. How about that? That's probably not in anybody's textbook. And speaking of fall, it is officially fall. The season fall. And what I want to say to you about fall is don't fall. How about that?
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. Y'all know I think I'm funny, so you gotta give me something every now and again. I'm gonna go get something out of my office in just a second and show y'all something I did. A lot of weight shifting here. We shift to one leg, we step out, we shift forward, keeping both feet flat on the floor, and shift back, still maintaining those loose fists. So if you catch yourself kind of squeezing those hands, recognize it and let that go. It's a gift from Tai Chi, that's body awareness. And so notice when you are holding tension and let it go. Now for our ankles, shift to one foot and heel, toe, heel toe. So rocking that foot, working that ankle joint. Bring it back, shift the weight, heel toe, heel toe. And back, shift the weight. Now, big toe, little toe, side to side. Side to side. We want our ankles mobile. And other foot, little toe, big toe. I always go left to right, probably because that's the way I read. Ooh, that one feels really good. Nice, flexible ankles. All right, give yourself a shake. I want you to shake, walk around the room, do a few extra hand flashes. I'm going to get something out of my office. I'll be right back. All right, not sure if I've ever showed this to y'all before, but a couple years ago, Walmart came out with their fall decorations, and I bought this, and I made my own edition. So if you see what I did? I wrote "don't." I embroidered it on there with thread. So I didn't do any of the leaves and acorns or the fall. It came like that from Walmart. It was in this little hoop, and all I did was add "don't." So that's what I was saying to y'all a while ago. Don't fall. So that hangs in my office. So this time of year, when all the fall decorations come out at Walmart or Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, every time I see something that says fall, I say, no, don't fall. All right, so that's what I wanted to show y'all. Are we ready?
You making one of those for us?
I doubt they sell this one anymore. But
that's unique.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anything that says fall this year.
Okay.
I mean, I really haven't plundered through that section. Or heck, it probably came out in July and I missed it. Because, we seasons off from reality. All right. Do y'all have any questions about any of our warm-ups? We do 2 for our necks, shoulders, spine, hips, knees, and ankles. Do y'all feel comfortable with those movements? Because the more we go through class, the less I really talk about them. I mean, I give you information and guidance, but not like we did the first of the class. All right, so our goal today is start really learning our waving hands and clouds, but we want to go back and review commencement, open and close, and single whip. And so for the sake of mirror image, for the sake of seeing it from the front, I'll do it in mirror image. We start with our stable stance, weight on both feet. We're going to bring our hands up. This is commence. Down, shift right. Place left. Now notice I said place left because that's an empty step. We don't immediately give it weight. We bring our hands in and up. We shift left as those hands go out, maintaining an upright posture. Bring that right foot up, hands come back. And when our hands come back, the weight goes to both legs, open and close. Our first single whip is shift left, step right, putting us into a staggered stance. We push our hands out, and when we push our hands out, we give weight to that front foot. So now we have weight on both feet. Turn our hands away from us and separate. Our eyes follow our left hand, which is opposite of the foot that stepped out. So that's our first 3 movements. Let's do it again, mirror image, and then I'll turn around. And commence. Up, down, shift right. Place left, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, place right. Push and adjust, turn, separate, eyes follow that left hand. Opposite of the foot that stepped out. So we know we do the single whip the opposite way, but we have waving hands and clouds in between. Let me turn around. Let's do those first 3 moves. Follow me. And commence. Hands up, down, shift right, place left, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, place right, push and adjust, turn and separate. Eyes follow that left hand. Our transition move is shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back. And then we're going to start stepping to the right. So again, this time I'm not going to talk about it, just follow me. First 3 moves, begin, commence. Open, close. Single whip. And then that transition move is shift left, right foot, right hand back. And then we're going to step out. Because bringing that right foot back, that's not a very stable stance. It is a prepare. It's that transition. So we bring it back and then we're going to step. First 3 moves. Any questions about those first 3 before we move forward?
Nope.
All right. So remember, we have our 4 words. Step and shift. So the first and the fourth, those are our footwork words. Switch and turn are our handwork words. So let's do just the footwork. And this was y'all's homework of Tai Chi walking, which is step and then shift. So when we place a foot, oftentimes we say step. And then in our natural way of walking, we put step and shift together. That's just how we normally walk in real life. In Tai Chi, we do an empty step, then a shift. So it's only for just a second. It's not for a long time, but initially it is an empty step before we step. Now the purpose of that empty step is, number 1, it's kind of a tester of the floor. So let's say you empty stepped onto a Lego and you said, oh, that is not something that I want to put my weight into. So let me pull my foot right back off because you didn't commit the weight to it. That's what happens in real life. We immediately step and shift onto that Lego and ouch. But in Tai Chi, the empty step serves as a floor tester. Oh, there's nothing there. I'm safe to shift the weight. Also, in the name of weight transfer and holding weight on one leg, we've shifted weight to one leg. When we place an empty step, because it's empty, because we're not giving it weight left, or weight yet, this leg is holding our weight longer. So we're forcing it to work hard. We're forcing it to be a stabilizer all by itself. So if I were to tell you, hey, welcome to Tai Chi class, we're going to stand on one leg for an hour, you would say, no, thank you. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fall. But essentially, we stand on one leg or the other for the hour by nature of our movements of an empty step, then the weight shift. So our weight is on one leg a long time because we move slowly and we leave that weight there longer because we place a foot empty before the weight transfer. So it's making us stronger and safer, that empty step. So back to our step, shift. We just finished our single whip. We brought this right foot back. Now we're ready to step. So just thinking of footwork, I'm going to step, empty, then I'll shift. Now let's take our left foot. Step, empty, then shift. This right foot, step, empty, then shift. Step, empty, shift. So I'm walking to the right. Step, empty, shift. Step, empty, shift. This is that Tai Chi walking I wanted you to practice. The space of your step is important for weight transfer, safe weight transfer, and you can keep your correct posture. All right, so think about this. I'm going to step. I'm stepping. You see how far apart my feet are? Now I'm thinking, all right, I got to, well, first of all, when I step that far, it couldn't be an empty step. I can't leave all my weight on my left leg and put this foot all the way over here. So that's too big of a step. Even when I go to shift weight to this right foot, I can't properly shift the weight without kicking off on this left foot. So in order to get my weight over here, I would have to kick off and then follow step. So that's not very Tai Chi of us, is it? We got to keep it small, just outside of our frame, shift, and then right there, right at hip width, okay? So our follow step, our second step foot is about at hip width, and our step to go somewhere is just outside of hip width, so that we can place the foot empty, then shift the weight and still maintain that upright posture, and then pick up and follow step. So it's a lot smaller than you may realize. So practice what feels safe for you. So Tai Chi walking, and we're doing 6 steps, okay? So let's practice that. We have step, shift, follow step. There's 2. Shift, step. There's 3. Shift, follow step. That's 4. So we have 2 more. Shift, step, shift, follow step. That's 6. So 6 steps. Personally, I count turns because turns happen second, and it's just easier for me. But if you want to count steps, you can count steps. Right now, we're only doing steps, so there's no turns to count. Tai Chi walking. Step, shift, step, shift, step, shift, step. Remember that step is empty. 2 more. Step, shift, and step. So you have practice to do with the spacing, because you couldn't take a ruler and measure my feet because your feet and legs may be different. And so I want you to stay small but still be able to empty step, properly shift the weight so you can just lift that foot and place it down. You're not going anywhere fast. You're not going a distance at all. Our steps are really small. All right, enough about our steps. Now, we wave hands in clouds to the right, those 6 steps. We come to the middle, open and close. Then we single whip to the left, and then we'll wave hands in clouds to the left. So that's that series of movements. Y'all have to let me know what your needs are, but I really like this handbook in that it has, well, that's our warm-ups. That's our advanced movements. Come on. All right. So on this page, how it has the list of our movements. Commence, open and close, single whip, waving hands in clouds. So it listed out, and sometimes that's nice to put it up there. Now, when I was first learning, I would write out single whip to the right. No. Yeah, single whip to the right. Waving hands in clouds to the right. Then I would say open and close. Then I would write single whip to the left. And then waving hands to the left. So I would write it down even more specific than what's listed here. Kind of surprised they don't. But anyway, that's the handbook that is available. So let's go to our hands. What do our hands look like? Well, remember we came from single whip. We looked at the hand opposite of the foot that stepped out in our single whip, right? So we went shift left, step right, adjust as we push, turn, separate. So my right foot is out and I'm looking at my left hand. I like to pretend my eyes are magic. And so I look at that hand and I'm like, don't you go anywhere. And I'm looking at that hand while I bring this right hand down. Now I'm like, all right, you can go somewhere now. So where does that hand go? It's going to come down to our hip. So the hand that we were just staring at and telling it not to go anywhere, when it gets permission to move, it comes down to our hip. So when we brought that right foot, right hand back, this one comes down to our hip. Where does our right hand go? It comes up. Think about a sash. Like if you're a princess or a king of the Tai Chi land, you're wearing your sash. And so you see that arm right there is crossed your body like a sash. So the hand that you were staring at, it just came down to your hip. The hand that, the other hand, it came from your hip, it's going to come up cross body. So this is how you look. Switch, turn, right? These are your hand movements. What you just did was switch. So what's our next one? Turn. The hand that's on top, that's your sash hand. That's the direction you turn. So here's what the turn looks like. Turn. It's a torso movement. The hand is not moving. You put the hands in place. Now you turn your body. Turn. Now you bring the hand that's up, your sash hand. It comes down to your hip. And then this hand is no longer at your hip, is it? It comes up and becomes your sash. So that's your switch. Now you're ready to turn again. Turn. Switch. Turn. Switch. Turn. Switch. Turn. Switch. All right? Do that turn and switch side to side and try to think more slow, smooth, and continuous. Because when I first did it, we looked kind of like robots, didn't we? We were like switch, turn, switch, turn. Don't you see the robot? What R2D2? No, is that his name?
That's him.
Okay, we're R2D2. What's the little guy, the little dome guy? C23P1 or something? CP3, CP321? I don't know his name, but you know what I'm talking about. That's what it reminds me of is, what's his name again? I'm stuck on C23P1 now. R2D2. All right, we don't want to be R2D2s, right? Because in Tai Chi, we're more smooth and continuous. So now that you R2D2'd into how the movement works, now smooth it out. And make it a little more circular as you switch and turn. Switch, turn. So it's more floaty in nature, that smoothness, than when you first learned it. Does this move right here remind you of anything that we've already done today? I didn't tell you the answer this time. Sometimes I'll go ahead and tell you the answer.
It's when we were sitting.
Say that again.
It's when we were sitting last time we did the turn.
Yeah. And you remember also in that same time frame, I was reminding y'all about our spinal warm-up. Think about our ball. Doesn't this look the same? Turn, switch. Turn, switch. Those are our words. Turn, switch. And that's our spinal warm-up. So that warm-up prepares us for the waving hands in clouds movement. Turn, switch. Whoops. Turn, switch. Turn. I'm going a little bit fast. To here. Turn, switch. It's a torso movement. We change our hands. We switch. We turn. We change our hands and turn. Y'all know the Karate Kid movie. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. It's similar to that. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. So it's not necessarily circular, it's more elliptical, like an oval. Because I'm not going in a circle, but it's here. You see the oval when you really make it smooth? So this right here, this smooth, continuous movement of your hands and your torso, This comes after a lot of practice of R2D2ing it, of making it more sharp. So in time, you'll get more and more smooth with that movement. So don't worry if yours doesn't feel or look really smooth just yet. So that seems really easy, doesn't it? Of course, we can walk to the side in Tai Chi style by keeping our steps small, empty stepping, then shifting weight, empty stepping, shifting weight. That seems really easy. Something we do most every day is walk. I don't know that we all walk sideways every day, but we're in Tai Chi land now, so this is our new normal. This is the footwork, no big deal. The hand work, here, switch, turn. All right, so separately, no biggie, right? So I'm going to blow your mind a little bit by putting them together. And it's okay if you feel overwhelmed, because Tai Chi feels really awkward when you first learn it. So give yourself grace and take time to practice and get better at it. But don't just write it off as, I can't do that, because the first time you do it, it doesn't feel right. But this is the order of what we do it. And so that's why I put this poster here. That's why I have it on a Post-it note. I encourage you to write it on your own piece of paper and put it in front of you while you practice, so that this can be your brain and you don't have to remember what's next. Let that be your brain. Also, remember I told you that there are 6 steps or 6 turns. When you're first learning it, just do it. Don't worry if you've done 6, 4, 8. Don't worry. Just practice the movement of it. And then once you get that down, then you can think more about 6. But there are 6. All right, so let's go back to our open and close, single whip, and then let's push ourselves to putting our upper and lower body together. So we have open and close, single whip to the right. So we shift left, place right, adjust and push, turn, separate, eyes, follow our left hand. All right, remember our eyes are magic. We're looking at our left hand. We're telling our left hand, stay right there. We bring that right foot, right hand back. Now we're ready to do our 4 words. So we step, then we switch. Now we turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Last one, shift, step, switch, turn. Now let's go to the middle 4, open and close. Close it out. How was your first time doing waving hands in clouds?
Pretty hard.
It is. It blows your mind. You think, oh, that's easy. I'm just walking sideways and switching my hands. I mean, separately, you feel like a superstar, and you are. That's how we learn. We break it down. We learn the pieces and parts, and then we practice putting it together. So we R2D to it. That's our new verb. We R2D to it as we learn. So we're step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step. So real choppy when we're learning. You see why I think it's so important to write this down and have right in front of you? Because you know what step is. You know what switch is. You know what turn is. You know what shift is. So if you just read what to do, then you can do it. But without that piece of paper, then your brain is going, okay, what's next? Okay, what did I just do? Let your paper be your brain. I showed y'all, my paper is my brain still, and I've been doing Tai Chi a long time. Now, I can do it without the paper, but I like that cheat sheet. What we want it to eventually look like is this. Okay, so I'm going to do it front facing just so you can see the whole picture. And I'm not doing mirror image. I'm just showing you waving hands in clouds done in that slow, smooth, continuous way. Okay, so open and closed, single whip. Here we go. Here's our open and close. So you see how smooth that was? You didn't see the R2-D2 nature. That's what comes with practice. So that's our goal, but there's nothing wrong with being choppy for right now as we learn. All right, so let's add it to the top. From commencement through commence, open, close, single whip, waving hands and clouds to the right, and open and close. Here we go. And commence. Hands up, down, shift right, press left, hands in and up. Shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift, step, push and adjust, turn and separate. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift, step, 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 switch, turn, and to the center for open and close. Thumbs up. Good job.
I do better.
Good. Each time you practice, you'll get better. Now, we know single whip. We know waving hands and clouds. We just did that. Now we know we're fixing to do it to the left. So we've opened and closed here just to show you what it looks like. Don't worry about doing it right now. We'll practice it next week. Shift right, step left, adjust and push, turn and separate. Eyes follow that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back. Waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, turn. Shift, 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 step, switch, turn. Now to the middle for open, close, and close it out. Close it out is there. Close it out. And close it out says, I'm done here. I'm not continuing forward with my movements. You know how I talk about energy and how we play with energy. Our hands are always oftentimes facing each other so that energy flows. So here we're messing with energy, trying to really vamp up the energy that's flowing in our bodies. And when we close it out, symbolically, we're putting that energy back into the world. So good energy, close it out. So we now know, whether we're experts or like, black belted, there's not black belts in Tai Chi, but we know our basic six. Our basic six: commence, open, close, single whip, waving hands and clouds. Those are our basic six movements. Sometimes I don't know how they made six out of it, but whatever. So, but we know our basic six movements. There are 6 advanced movements. We want to feel comfortable with our basic before we move forward. So again, we will practice next week doing those movements to the right and to the left. Anybody have any questions before I leave you for a week?
Jennifer,
Ma'am.
I have a tendency I have a tendency to want to turn my hand like this. When I'm doing the waving cloud,
Facing
I
you?
tendency to want to do this rather than that.
Okay, so the type of Tai Chi we do is called Sun style.
Mhm.
And there's another style and Sun style is a higher stance to where we're not squatted really low. Our moves are very smooth in nature. There's another style of Tai Chi that's called chain style, and it's a little more squatted and a little more whippy in the movements. Tai Chi, Dr. Lamb's program, that's Tai Chi for diabetes, is a mixture of Sun and chain style. Waving hands in clouds, chain style, has your hand away from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, your hand facing you. Sorry, because we do it away from you.
Right.
Chain style, waving hands in clouds is facing you. So you're just doing chain style, waving hands in clouds.
Thanks.
So, it's not the end of the world if you were to do it that way. The main thing is that you're safe. But there's you a little lesson about waving hands in clouds done in different styles of Tai Chi looks a little bit different. So that was interesting to me when I learned Tai Chi for diabetes. All right, let's cool down by giving ourselves a nice fist massage. You're in control of how high you bring your knees. I like to say my pants are in control depending on how tight they are. Sometimes my pants don't allow my knees to come up very high. But today my pants have a little stretch in them so I can lift those knees up. But we want to tell our legs thank you for working so hard for us. Now let's gather tension and then let it go. We don't want to hold on to tension. Tension can cause pain, so we want to let go of tension. Recognize it when we're holding on to it, and then let it go. Big shoulder circle, same one we do in our warm-ups for our shoulders. Tai Chi for rehabilitation is all about those words of affirmation that I talk about. Breathing in calm, breathing out stress, which that goes to show you the power of our minds, and in rehabilitation, how our minds can be involved in our healing. One more. Now let's take our right fist. We don't clench it, remember, and that represents our strength. Our left fingers are together, representing our friendship. Our thumb in, representing our humility. We put those together, and in mutual respect, we say, Namaste. So there you go, y'all. We are Tai Chi'd for the week. I would like for you to practice Tai Chi walking with that empty step and weight transfer. I really want you to make your own piece of paper that says this: step, switch, turn, shift. Step, and the little word says empty. Switch, change hands. Turn or wave, because this movement is called waving hands in clouds, but we're not waving, we're turning. And then shift, that's our weight. That's what those little words are. And the brackets, that's the advanced part, where we step and we switch at the same time, and then we turn and shift at the same time. If you want to start thinking about that, fine, but I wouldn't worry about it. But I invite you to make your own piece of paper, your own cheat sheet that'll help you get better at waving hands in cloud. Because if there's one movement that I say pull out and just do that one, it is waving hands in clouds. Because, of course you want to do your warm-ups always. Prepare your body for movement. But then when you're practicing Tai Chi, if you just wanted to pull out one movement, waving hands in clouds gives you weight transfer, that slow, smooth, continuous practice in upright posture, and the meditative type repetition of movement is very relaxing. And so I had a girl that was in my class. She was early 20s, and she was in college, and she would get really stressed out. And she did waving hands in clouds. She would take a break, and then she would wave hands in clouds, and it calmed her down, and then she could go and do her back to her studies. So I love that move for so many reasons, but I always think of her and how helpful it was to her. All right. Well, I won't take any more of your time. I will see y'all next Tuesday. Y'all let me know if I need, or if I can do anything for you. Y'all let me know if I need anything from y'all. No. But most importantly, don't fall. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. Love y'all.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.